In the harsh lands of the American frontier, where survival was difficult and trust was rare, one cowboy made a decision that shocked an entire town. In 1874, a young native woman stood alone at an auction, believing no one would ever see her as more than a possession. But when a quiet cowboy stepped forward and paid only $2, she looked at him with anger and said, "You'll regret this. I won't obey you." But what happened next revealed a story of kindness, courage, and a promise that changed two lives forever. Before we begin this emotional Old West tale, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more amazing stories. Now let's get started. In the winter of 1874, the cold winds swept across a small frontier town in Montana, where people gathered around an auction platform built from rough wooden boards. Among the crowd stood Aiyana, a young native woman whose life had been turned upside down by circumstances beyond her control. She looked at the faces around her and saw greed, judgment, and cruelty. To the people there, she was just another item to be claimed by the highest bidder. Men shouted their offers, while Aiyana remained silent, holding on to the last piece of her pride. She refused to show fear, even when strangers treated her as if she had no voice of her own. Then a quiet cowboy named Thomas Reed stepped forward. Unlike the others, he didn't laugh or stare at her with disrespect. He simply placed $2 on the table. The crowd erupted with laughter, believing Thomas had made a foolish choice. Aiyana turned toward him with anger in her eyes and said, "You'll regret this. I won't obey you." Thomas looked at her calmly and replied, "I'm not here to own you. I'm here to make sure you walk away free." For the first time in a long while, Aiyana wondered if someone's kindness could truly be real. Days later, Aiyana arrived at Thomas Reed's remote ranch, hidden among the mountains of Montana. She expected the same treatment she had always feared: commands, restrictions, and a life without choices. But every morning, Thomas surprised her. He gave her space, listened to her stories, and never once treated her like she belonged to him. Aiyana watched carefully, waiting for the moment when his true intentions would appear. She had learned that promises from strangers often came with a price. But Thomas asked for nothing in return. He only wanted her to have the freedom she deserved. One evening, as the sun disappeared behind the mountains, a group of men from the town arrived at the ranch. They demanded that Aiyana leave with them, claiming they had the right to decide her future. Thomas stepped forward, standing firmly between them and Aiyana. "She is not property," Thomas said. "She belongs to herself." Aiyana felt something change inside her. The cowboy she had once believed was another threat had become the first person to truly protect her. "You kept your word," she whispered. Thomas smiled and replied, "A promise means nothing unless you live by it." From that day forward, Aiyana no longer saw Thomas as the man who paid $2 at an auction. She saw him as the man who gave her a chance to start a new life.